My cat's maybe joining us as well. We'll see. Cool. Hi, Grandma. Thank you. I'm very excited to be here. I got started doing it professionally about a year ago. I've been an actress, like a film and TV actress and theater actress for many, many years. And I moved to Austin maybe about a year and a half ago. And a friend of mine was like, "Well, have you ever considered, trying voiceover?" And I like stopped and thought about it for a second, and I was like, "No, and how have I not?" Because like I love cartoons, I love anime, I love video games, like I play and watch all of the above. So I have a passion for it. And then with being an actress, that training was a huge help in getting, voiceover stuff started. So I kind of just decided, well, gosh darn it, like, yeah, I'm gonna start doing voiceover. And I just kind of leapt like head first into it. Oh, yeah, totally. I'm a California native. Like I said, I moved to Austin about a year and a half ago. Um, I have been acting since, well, if you ask my parents, since the womb. They said I popped out and they knew that I was going to end up in the entertainment industry. Um, and yeah, I have an older brother uh, who is very into gaming and anime and so forth. And at an early age, he kind of started to introduce me to that stuff. And I'm also a voracious reader, so I was, and still am very into sci-fi and fantasy fiction and stuff like that. Um, and yeah, what else would you like to know? I graduated with a BFA in theater from Chapman University, which is in Orange County. Lived in LA for 5 years, which was amazing. Um, and now here I am in Austin. Long times. Well, first of all, on that note, I'm happy to answer like specific questions if anybody has any, like along those lines. But in general, I feel like with acting and with voiceover, it's true of kind of like all pursuit of the arts as a profession. There is no right way. Like it's one of the scary things about it, and it's one of the beautiful things about it is it's like a circle. So it's like there are many, many different ways to try and penetrate into the center. Uh, for me, um, I did seek out, I just did a Google search for like voiceover coaches in my area. And, I did a little bit of, oh, hi, Sophie. This is one of my cats. Um, I did a little bit of training with a local woman named Lainey Frazier, who was phenomenal. Um, but really, what I just kind of did was decide what it was that I wanted to try and go for specifically, which was, like anime dubbing and video games and so forth. So I made a demo reel with a friend who helped me out. There's a really great resource called voicebank.net. It houses a huge number of professional voice actors' demo reels. So you can go on there and get a good idea of like what a professional voice actor's demo reel sounds like. And then I just decided, okay, these are the types of characters that I can play. And then I either found clips from video games or animes that fit those characters, or I wrote some of my own stuff when I couldn't find something that I wanted. And I just like put my demo reel together and then started sending it out to people. Like I still don't have an agent. All of the work that I've gotten has just been through kind of researching, knowing what area of the field I wanted to go into, researching who in Texas was working in that field, and then figuring out, okay, who do I send my material to? And persistence and like being open to like listening and criticism were both key points for me, because I had a few people give me some really valuable advice about how to make my demo reel a little better, a little more marketable. But I also just have to, I mean, as an artist, you kind of have to be like pleasantly persistent. I think that I contacted Funimation. I think it took me 8 months of like pleasantly, occasionally bugging Funimation to let me come in and audition to actually be given an audition. So yeah, I hope that kind of like. Mhm. I was always a fan of like the more serious animes. One of my favorites growing up, and it's still one of my favorites, is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Um, Although I really, the like kind of romantic fantasy fan in me, I was also really drawn to Escaflowne. Uh, so my brother, like this was back in the days of VHS, right? So my brother had like a wall of like VHS tapes, like pirated anime and stuff. And one day, like when he wasn't home, I like stole into his room and I like snuck Escaflowne off the shelf, not knowing anything about it, not knowing what I was getting into. It was the summer, and I think I ended up like binging and literally watching the entire series over the course of like 3 days. Wasn't very long. And I remember finishing it at like 4 a.m. and just like bawling, just like uncontrollable tears, and like slinking back into my brother's room. He was a night owl, so he was still up. Slinking back into his room and just being like, "Why didn't you warn me?" Hmm. One of my friends actually just gifted me one of them, and I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but it's in my DVD queue. I'm sorry, any what humorous incidents? I mean, I'm trying to think if there's anything specific I can think of. I mean, getting getting to record anime in general is like, well, really any voiceover, any gaming such is such a blast. And I've been so fortunate to just work with people who are a lot of fun. Um, there have definitely been times where I've like botched pronunciations that were like really obvious and therefore really embarrassing. um, and I'm trying to think if there's any specific funny stories. To be honest, it's like I've got about a year under my belt, so I don't have as much stuff to draw from. But hey, cut it out. Sorry, my cat is like going crazy. Um, hmm. Um, well, like I said, I'm a voracious reader. I read a lot. And I also was a dancer growing up as well. I did ballet for, I think, 18 years, which I don't do ballet anymore. But I still really, really like dancing. I go like swing dancing and salsa dancing a decent amount. And I also enjoy a good 80s night every now and then. Who doesn't? Let's be honest. Um, I do play a lot of games, and you know, I obviously being an actress and a voiceover artist, I watch a ton of movies and TV. I'm in the middle of watching Breaking Bad right now. So good. And I also love to eat. And I live in Austin, which is such a good city for food. Um, yeah, I did skydiving for a while. Well, about me, yeah. When I lived in California, I used to drive up to, I went randomly. I never had the desire to go skydiving. And then I went randomly for a friend's birthday and ended up loving it and drove back the next day and was like, how do I do this more? And I think it varies on the state, but in California, I believe you had to jump a total of like 12 times solo in order to get your license. And I got about 2/3 of the way through it before I realized that this was a very rushed, ill thought out decision and that I completely ran out of money because it's expensive. Ooh. No, I promise. Me or you? Okay.
Okay, so now we should be able to, so everybody should be able to hear me now. Okay, I'm sorry. So the whole spiel that I put out there, like, because they can hear you fine. The, okay, so the whole spiel pretty much that I put out there earlier, guys, is that if you have any questions, just make yourself a random username to ask. It doesn't matter. And I'm sorry for interrupting you.
Oh, that's okay.
So, what was your most challenging project?
Well, the most challenging project I've done to date, unfortunately, is one I can't talk about. That's kind of the unfortunate thing sometimes about doing acting and voiceover is it's like I have about like 3 different projects that I've recently worked on or are currently working on that like I want to talk about so bad and I can't, you know, for different like non-disclosure reasons. Let's see, most challenging. I will say Attack on Titan, it wasn't challenging so much as it was really nerve-wracking at first.
Are you excited about watching it tonight?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was the first, Attack on Titan's the first anime that I've ever dubbed, and I remember telling a friend, like, a friend called me and I was on my way to Dallas to audition for the project, and they're like, oh, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I'm on my way to Dallas to audition for Funimation. And they're like, oh, what project? And I was like, Attack on Titan, and they were like, "Are you serious? Do you know what that anime is?" And I was like, "No, I've been really busy, and I haven't been able to like keep up on my latest anime watching." And they're like, "Dude, that show is a big deal.
It is a big deal.
Up." And I was like, "Oh, thanks." And they're like, "Yeah, don't screw up, or else you're gonna have like millions of fans like pissed at you."
Yep.
And I was like, "Oh, okay, no pressure." So yeah, that was probably my most challenging project that I can talk about to date, just because I was so nervous. But thankfully, Mike McFarland is an absolute joy to work with. Like, he kept things so like relaxed and like easy, and thankfully I caught on pretty quick.
Someone on the live stream said you could totally cosplay as Ymir.
Thank you. I'm not quite tall enough, but I'm really jealous of her freckles, actually.
Yep.
I always freckles, which I know everybody says they don't want them, but I actually wanted them. I think they're really pretty.
I've got freckles. You can't see it because I'm so far away, but I got them. So I have two questions to ask you that aren't anime related. So, what was it like working on the set of Criminal Minds?
That was a blast too. It's the first show that I ever did where I got to have special effects makeup. So I got like all of these like really disgusting like latex boils put on me, which was awesome. And I mean, in general, that was actually, I think that was the first network TV show I worked on as well, which again was like nerve-wracking because TV moves at a really fast pace. And I'd only worked on film previously, like where like the director, like he'll do a take and I'll be like, "All right, that was great. Now, maybe in this next one we can try this." And they'll like hash it out, and then you get like real personalized feedback, and then you go again.
Right.
But with TV, it's like, "All right, good, moving on." Like, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And I was like, oh, but did I do a good job? And it's like, nobody's really like too worried about like, you know, stoking your ego or like, you know, pacifying you. So it was a little jarring at first, but you catch on. And Matthew Gray Grubler was wonderful to work with. He's like such a nice person in real life as well as on the show. He helped like kind of calm me down a little bit before some of my scenes.
And the second one that is based on your your real acting career. I know that you acted in Perfect Getaway as the bridesmaid. How did you feel working in a movie full of suspense?
Okay, how did I feel about working in a movie
full of suspense?
Well, you know, I didn't actually get to participate in any of the suspense of that movie. I basically got paid to go party. Like, it was the perfect job. May have been their perfect getaway. But, I mean, I literally, like, I got flown out to Puerto Rico. I was like, "Here, pretend you're at a wedding on a beautiful tropical island." And I was like, "Okay, I can do that." I worked on other, like I just worked on an indie film called Focus Puller. That's like a psychological thriller. And the thing I learned about that is we may give like, you know, horror movie actors and horror movies like kind of like roll our eyes, but like that stuff is tough work. It is like physically and emotionally draining to like put yourself in that situation where you're scared for your life.
Right.
It's like if you want to, oh, sorry, by the way, I live by train tracks, so you might.
There's a train, I live close to the Dart, so it's all good.
But yeah, I had a lot more respect for people who act in those genres after doing that movie, because it was tough, it was draining. But I feel like I perfected my horror movie scream, so.
So are you a horror movie buff?
I'm not so much a classic horror movie buff, like, like a la Texas Chainsaw Massacre and stuff. I was always more into like, kind of like supernatural, like horror, or
Right.
like psychological thrillers.
Right.
Um,
So, the reason why I ask is because there's this movie that just came out, I think, a couple of days ago,
mhm.
and it's called The Den. And this chick, she posts a grant for her job, and this is like literally what she does. She leaves her video camera on all day
Mhm.
and talks to different people around the world, and then all of a sudden she witnesses a murder, and the people that she witnessed the murder to or from come and hunt her and her family down and all that other stuff. It's pretty crazy.
What is it called again?
The Den.
The Din. Like Din or Den?
Den.
Den. Sounds
It's a
good.
good it's a good movie though. It really is.
Is it on Netflix?
I don't know. I do a little shh behind the scenes. So, what project have you done that you are most proud of?
Hmm. That's a good question. Um, I really like doing movies that make people think, and start dialogue. And I worked on, when I was at Chapman University, I worked on a guy's senior thesis film called Barely Legal. And it was super controversial on the university because it dealt with some pretty rough subject matter. Despite what the film title may sound like, there's no nudity in the film. But it is about like the porn industry,
Right.
and about how pornography kind of alters people's perceptions of like sex and sexuality, like from kind of what it like is in the real world. And there was some pretty intense stuff that happened in the movie about coercion and rape and stuff like that, kind of because of this theme.
Right.
And there were a lot of people that were really vocal about like whether or not it should be made, and like the reception of it, like whether it was a valuable film or whether it was just like filth or whatever. And to this day, I mean, that was a number of years ago, but to this day I'm still really proud of that project. Like, I feel like it was a really important movie to make to me at that time, and I really thought that like what the director was trying to say was important, and I was really glad that he did it despite like the naysayers.
Right. Is there one that you're least proud
A project I'm least proud of?
of? Yes.
I tell you what, Kari, going through Chapman University, we work on a lot of student films that I'm sure if I were to look back on now, oh, it would be so embarrassing. Like, there's some films I'm really glad that like I didn't get copies of.
Right.
Like there was this one film. It was a comedy, but I play like this girl that has like Tourette's in it, and so it's like I'm constantly like, "Hey, Kari, how are you? Cock balls up." Like, just this like hideously like comedic over portrayal of Tourette's that is not even accurate and just involves me spewing out a bunch of like random obscenities all the time. So I don't know, maybe that one.
So this is a borderline question for you, but are you working on any anime related projects now that you can tell us about? No.
I am. I'm allowed to say that it's a Funimation title.
Okay.
But I have been expressly forbidden from saying a single other thing than that. I can't tell you when it's coming out. I can't tell you even like what type of role or size of role I'm playing in it.
That's perfect. It's like I said, it's a borderline question. And, you're inching that close. So it's all good.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm really, really excited about it, though. If that says anything.
oh yeah. I realized that I asked the same question twice on my sheet here. um, so the last of my questions, and I don't know if anybody out there has any questions for you, but are there any conventions that we may possibly see you at in the future?
Strangely enough, I'm not allowed to give you a specific answer for that yet either.
Really?
Yes, I will say there are,
There
uh,
are?
but the conventions reserve the right to be the ones to drop the guest list first.
Right.
So the conventions that I am going to be a guest at, I'm not allowed to say what they are yet because they haven't announced it yet.
Are you gonna crash Acon? I mean, it's
That's
only
like,
a couple of. Are you gonna crash Acon, the one that's in Dallas, downtown Dallas?
when is it?
I think it's in May.
I hadn't planned on it, but I'm gonna look into it now that you mention it. I mean, why not? I go up to Dallas all the time for Funimation, and
Right.
I'm working on a video game up there as well. I will. I mean, I promise that I will post about it as soon as I'm allowed to.
Right.
But yeah, all I can say is yes, but not which ones, and that there's a good chance I may show up at Aegon.
Um, would you cosplay as the character that you voice in Attack on Titan?
I have cosplayed before, quite a bit actually, but I don't think I would as Ymir, unless it was like, yeah, I don't think I would, to be honest. Like, I kind of feel like, I don't know, it just seems almost wrong to me somehow. Like I'm voicing her, like I have to kind of like leave it that. I don't know. I think about it, but I don't have any plans to.
So guys, I know that there's only a handful of you listening in, watching. Do you guys have any questions that you would like to ask Miss Elizabeth? As the silence is just like tightly closing in on the chat. One of my friends, Chim, she's like, "Oh hi, I'm here," and she said, she's trying to get people in the best she can. God. But no, and she suck at questions. She says she sucks at questions, so she can't think of any. I guess let's go ahead and clear the air now before more people come in. Oh wait. Hey, it's Zach. How did you get so awesome, Max? Tell me your secret.
How did I get so awesome? Well, thank you, first of all. I appreciate the compliment. I don't know. I'm an optimist, man. Like, I believe in happiness and gratitude and pursuing what you're passionate about, regardless of what other people think. And that makes me really happy. And I believe like finding what you're good at and then being able to get somebody to pay you to do it is probably the most awesome thing in the world. So I feel like one of the luckiest people in the world. And I've been a geek for forever. So one of the things I love about being a geek is it's like non-apologetic, you know? You just get to fly your freak flag and be proud of and excited about what you want to be proud and excited about. So yeah, and I don't know, I believe like being an adult and like being serious is still
Just a big
overrated.
kid when you turn it into an adult.
Yeah,
That's what I think.
I think people get so serious and get so focused on like the serious parts of life, and doing acting and voiceover specifically, I feel like helps keep that like young spirit alive in me because I get to play for a living.
Oh
It's
yeah.
awesome.
Here's a question for you. Have you ever, or who was the person you aspired to be as?
Funny enough, I don't know a ton of women in the voiceover industry. Um, but I was lucky enough to get exposed to and get to meet a lot of like the male voiceover talent. I was lucky enough to get to meet and watch Troy Baker and Liam O'Brien in the booth
Right.
when they were working on Darksiders 2. And that was actually around the time that I got kind of inspired to really, give voice acting like a go professionally. Those guys are so incredibly talented. It was exceptionally motivating and inspiring. So, yeah, I kind of list them as my voiceover heroes. And it's like, I look at Troy Baker and what he's done and how he's become like a household name in video games. And, Liam with Naruto. And, I think that was his first role in anime, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I think Naruto was his first role. I could be wrong. Forgive me, fans, if I'm quoting this wrong, but I feel like I remember him telling me that.
Hold up.
And,
I'll look. Hold up. You can keep going. I'll look.
I was seeing what those guys have been able to do. I literally remember thinking, I want to be the female Troy Baker. Like, I want to be the female Liam O'Brien. And I feel kind of like a jerk for not knowing exactly who the female versions of them are currently. I know Tara Platt through social media. We have a lot of common friends in LA, and she's a sweetheart. I actually bought her and Yuri's book on voice acting. What is it called? Voiceover Voice Actor,
Right.
I think it's called. It's a great book and incredibly funny. They're really amazing writers and have a really exceptional way of like wording things in a very easy to understand and like pleasant to digest like way. So what you were asking me earlier, that's a book I recommend using as a resource for anyone who wants to get into voice acting for sure.
You said it was Liam O'Brien?
Uh-huh.
Okay, from the wiki, and I know Wikipedia is very editable.
Editable.
Editable. He is best known for his roles as Gaara of the Sand, Captain Jurushiro Yutaki from Bleach, War in the video game, Vincent Law in Ergo Proxy, Yasuo in the Unforgiven, League of Legends. There's so much more. I can go on and on and on. So, but there you go.
Yeah, like I said, if it wasn't his first, I know it was definitely in like the first few animes that he did. And I was like, how cool is that? To get to see Gaara, like, right out of the cage.
Right.
Or gate, wrong analogy. Metaphor.
So guys, don't be afraid to ask your question.
I'm really nice and honest.
Have you heard of Attack on Space?
I haven't. Will you tell me about it?
I will tell you about it from what I learned back last week. Evidently, it's a fan series of Attack on Titan, but in space.
That sounds pretty cool. I could totally get down with that.
I'll hook you up with a link, I guess.
I love space stuff too. That's the sci-fi nerd in me. Battlestar Galactica, man. Ugh. Oh.
Do you read manga?
I haven't read as much manga as I've actually watched anime, but yeah, I have. Like, I've read the JoJo's manga, and I'm not all the way through, but I've been reading D. Gray Man. Yeah.
One that I've been addicted to reading, and I've had this series for years now, and they're already up to like 18 volumes thus far, is Blackbird. It's a really good series.
Is it
It
a space set in space?
no, it's based on your supernatural kind of
Mhm.
setting, and it's really, really, really good. I mean, I'm slowly trickling my money away and getting the whole series and completing the set, but yeah, and
And I know this is no news to anyone, obviously, but I've actually, I actually voiced Ymir before I had a chance to watch Attack on Titan.
really,
Yeah, yeah.
they didn't show you like clips that you're looking at for what she is gonna be, and to try and get as close to that as possible.
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean they do. Yeah, but absolutely. But I just mean like the series as like a whole, like.
Right. You haven't. Did you see it after the fact?
Mm-hmm. I started watching it obviously after I worked on Amir, and oh my god, I had been crying like not necessarily sad tears, but it's just like I get goosebumps watching that show so much, and like I'm a little behind. I haven't quite finished all of season one yet, but I just finished episode 10, and when Armin does that like speech, where he's trying to convince them like to, use Aaron for good instead of destroy him. And he starts like, he's got like you know, his salute and he's like screaming. Like, I was just like, and I like actually teared up. Man, so good.
Chim, she's saying, she's hella rad. Oh god, she's like me. I get so excited that I cry.
Yes! It was like so inspirational and moving. Ah, I love the music too. I'm a big fan of them like bringing in the like electric guitars and the like more modern sounds
Right.
with the kind of more classical sounds.
Have you heard that Baby Metal should have been like the opening of season 1?
I've heard of baby metal, but what?
There's one song that they made is like Line. If you YouTube it, Baby Metal and Attack on Titan, you'll see like a whole list of people that think that Line should be season 1 because it kind of fits perfectly with the intro, and it's amazing. I mean, I even did my own little rendition of it on Anime Twist, but it's just like I suck at cutting music. But yeah, I mean, they're okay. Chim says you should read the manga though. It gets really more into the story and Ymir and stuff. So, period.
I want to. I'm not gonna say any spoilers because I don't know how many people have read the manga and how many haven't. But I did have a friend, same friend, who called me on the drive to Dallas. He leaked to me that just the fact that like Amir is going to become a larger character, as well, at least in the manga she does. We'll see what happens in the anime. And I was like, oh, that's so exciting. I mean, I was kind of pissed that he like gave it away, but I was also kind of like, oh, that's so fascinating.
Are you hoping that Attack on Titan gets a season 2?
Oh heck yes. I would be really. I mean, maybe I'm just being optimistic, but I feel like I'd be really surprised if it wasn't.
Right.
It's such an amazing show, and I feel like it's been really well received. So I feel like they'd have to be stupid not to get the season 2.
They are thinking about doing a season 2 from what I've been reading on various news networks for anime. They're talking June, but not this year, maybe next year. Because they're wanting the manga to catch up more than what it is at now. Which is understandable. I mean, that's what Fairy Tail did. But yeah, they're wanting to get the manga caught up more than what it is already now. So that's what I've heard. Don't you guys hate me for what I said. But Chim says it's very close to the manga. Granted, they removed some things and added some things, but they're very minor. So
that's cool.
So could you give us an example of the Ymir's voice that you created? Or no, you can't.
Yeah. Let's see. It's not too far off from my real voice. It's just a little lower and a little harsher. What do you want me to say, Kari?
It doesn't matter anything.
Anything?
Anything.
Well, I'm not going to waste my breath on just anything.
You could do a sentence.
I'm being in character.
I know. Like, you can do a sentence from the show or whatever.
I'm trying to think of what she says. That's the funny thing about voices. People who speak other languages have told me like the same thing. It's like, it's kind of a weird thing. Like when you're asked on the spot to do it, it's not that it's necessarily hard to do. It's like trying to think of what to say is
Right.
like some reason kind of the hard part.
Okay, so let's do this. We had brought it up last time with Clifford. He ships Springles, which is Connie, Springer, and Sasha together.
Mhm.
You can state for what you think about Springles being as a ship, all in Ymir's voice.
I'm sorry, what I think of Springles as a...
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was corrected. You should say Yumi Curry, I guess.
What is it?
I don't know. Chim, explain. Sorry, I'm looking at live stream and talking to you at the same time. Oh,
No,
okay.
no.
So, do you ship Ymir and Krista?
Sorry, what? Say that again?
Do you ship Ymir and Krista?
Do you ship?
Yeah. First, that's the first one.
Do you ship Ymir and Krista? What does that mean?
You don't know what shipping is?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Did I make myself sound super ignorant?
Shipping is when you take two characters in an anime or manga, whatever, that likely don't have any kind of relationship forming period, and you force them to be together.
Mm-hmm.
So Ymir and Krista is in Attack on Titan. Would you ship them? Oh, I'm being corrected. No, that's not it at all. Well, explain, Chim. Hope you don't mind.
Oh, no, not at all.
It's just short for relationship. Okay. Well, explain. This is she doesn't know what shipping is. Okay, so
Oh, sorry.
Miyakoda said it's just short for relationship.
I will say that you just actually reminded me of something. I will say, when you asked me before, like what, like one of the more difficult things I've done in anime, that moment, you know, the moment on the roof where like Amir's with Connie and Armin and like Armin's freaking out and they're like, where is everybody? And Amir's like, well, they're dead, obviously, and like it's a shame that this guy survived and like Mikasa and, you know, Eren didn't. And then she has that like, I mean, it's really common in anime, but that weird break where all of a sudden she's like, and you know, you better marry me when this is all over, Krista. Like, that was incredibly hard to do. Because you're like doing all of this like really like intense, like, you know, serious stuff, and then you have to like break and like out of nowhere do something that sounds like believably, realistically like humorous and kind of out of character for her, like if you know you think about it. I remember like them showing me the video clip of it in Japanese and them being like, all right, this is what you're gonna do, and I was like, oh, okay.
I actually now have to apologize because they were like, I'm being told like literally what I said was kind of harsh about shipping, but I apologize. I'm not used to being asked or having people asking shipping questions, so I only know what I know about shipping from Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged. So,
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much where I stand. So that's my apology to you guys. But they said, but Chim says, yeah, Ymir is like that a lot. She's very sodic, but also very sarcastic and whatnot too.
Mm-hmm.
So, there you go. Anybody have any questions? So, stoic. Okay. I'm not used to reading, like, short. Never mind. Anyway. Is that an Egyptian mug?
No, it's actually my astrological sign. I don't know if you can see it. It's Libra.
Oh,
It's, yeah,
cool.
the scales.
Did you make that?
No, I am a huge like paint me pottery like fan. I've made many a mug and a plate, but I didn't make this particular one. No. I honestly think I got this from like Coffee Bean or something. Like I normally don't buy mugs from like Starbucks or Coffee Bean, but I saw this one. They had them for all the different astrological signs, and I was like, "This is so cool." So,
Right.
mm, I love me some tea. Um, I have a question for you.
Okay.
What inspired you to start Anime Twist?
What inspired me to start Anime Twist was, I don't know if you know about Mini Acon that happened in February.
Mm-hmm.
Coming home from Mini Acon and, just knowing that out on Facebook there's so many anime dedicated fan pages, but yet, and cosplay fan pages, but yet I don't see one that combines the two together.
Mm-hmm.
And if there is one, then it's avoided me because my whole entire page, my newsfeed, when it comes down, is all anime and things people find funny and just stuff that is based on cosplay, etc. And I wanted to take my experience from, talking with voice actors like you and on panels and getting a chance to meet them one-on-one, getting them to sign something crazy like poker cards, stuff like that. It really got me thinking, what if I went ahead and made a page and just shared it with everybody that's out there? So when I created Anime Twist, the twist was all about trying to get things that people would like more.
Mm-hmm.
So as it stands right now, I've got, on Wednesdays we have Wicked Anime Nails, which
I saw. That's pretty cool.
you have people that decorate their nails, whether they're long, short, whatever, all anime. Thursdays it's Wicked Tattoos, anime
Dude,
tattoos.
I saw that, I think the last post you did on that, of the tattoo of like the Titan like coming out of the person's side.
Oh yeah.
That tattoo is sick. I mean, I was like, wow.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
I actually, and there's on the, I think it was not this Thursday, but it was last Thursday. I had posted a picture of it was all Attack on Titan themed, and there's actually stockings you can get for your legs that are just clear, but on the sides it's all tattoo like, so it looks like it's actually on your skin.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought those were amazing. I had to share them. But, yeah, pretty much when Anime Twist came about, I was just like, okay, I wonder how this is going to work within the community. So, I tried reaching out to whoever I could to get an interview with. You being one of them. And I'm so excited that it fell through. But my first interview was with Brian Delaney. He is the owner and creator of Silver Sparrow Comics, and that was a completely amazing interview. And then I got to be able to talk with him, and he was like, maybe you should do podcasts and train, like, if you were going to do interviews more like this, maybe you should, take notes and put down time sets and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, you know what, that's good advice. Thank you. Um, so then when the next interview came along, I did a cosplay group called Toast and Ramen. And they're awesome. I'm still friends with all of them. I tag them when they're a huge Attack on Titan group.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I see things that I think that would enhance their Attack on Titan cosplay, like, did you know, and I don't remember, I think it's in August, but there is going to be a cell phone case that is like the grips for the gear.
Cool.
And if you hold the trigger, it'll actually show your camera lens for you to take pictures.
No.
And I'm serious.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So that was something, things like that I share with them, and it's like, hey, there's this hoodie with the crest on it. You should totally get this. Stop trying to take my money away from me. Things like that. So, I mean, and I've been told I'm a freak. Good for me, I'm a freak. But no, I've but that's just where I stand for Anime Twist, and I've been looking for people to help me out. So hopefully, maybe the next time I interview you, it just won't be me. It'll be like a few other people. But yeah, that's how it stands thus far.
I think it's cool. I mean, I grew up in like a relatively small town, and there just like were not a lot of other people who were like into like, anime or video games or stuff. And I mean, thankfully I had my brother, so it was like I never felt like too lonely in my pursuits and passions, but it's just like I remember thinking like, man, it would have been so cool if like the internet was like a bigger thing when I was like that age.
Yeah.
I'd had like, websites and pages and stuff where like I could interact with other people and not be like confined to, the population of my town that happened to not be that into geekery.
What else is another one? Trying to think. Question. What is your favorite Attack on Titan character? Other than Ymir.
um, I feel like I don't even know if I've been introduced to, well, no, I think most of the major players I've been introduced to at this point. I really like Annie. Um, so far she was only really kind of super featured in that one episode where, she takes Aaron down and kind of shows him like martial arts and stuff. But I thought that moment was so cool. Like, I really like her character. And I really like I've just kind of been introduced to General Pixis in episode 10. And I really like him too. That he's like this kind of like really oddball like general who like drinks on the job and
Right. Chim says, don't worry, BBY. You'll see her more. Wink, wink.
Annie, I mean, she's too cool of a character not to like be in more of the show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are two of my standouts so far.
Awesome.
Who's yours?
I would think, but you haven't seen them yet, so I can't spoil it for you. I
When
can't.
did they appear?
Hold up. I don't think you're looking in the live stream, so it's all good.
No, I can't see it. And I was going to tell you, I don't know how far. Well, I'm sorry. Finish your thing first.
I want to say that he appears a little bit after the episode that you're currently on.
Okay.
But when he appears,
yeah. Well, just tell me his name, Levi. So I know. Huh?
Levi or Levy?
Oh, Levi. Yeah, Levi was in one of the episodes that I've watched already.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in like 8 or 9. It shows them like battling Titans, and they're called back, and he was like, "Why? Like we just got here. Like what's going on?" And they're like, "Well, Titans just attacked, you
Right.
know." So
Though, but another thing I could have been like is that, I made a wallpaper of him on Anime Twist you could go check out, wink wink. So, um, and
I
then,
got to meet Matthew Mercer at Comic-Con one year. Dude's pretty cool.
did you go to free comic book day today?
No, but I'm going to.
Are they
Um,
still open?
uh, there's a place in Austin called Dragon's Lair that's open until I think I want to say 9 on the weekends because they do a lot of like tabletop games like where you actually play like in the store.
Right.
So yeah, they're open pretty late.
So if you guys are in Austin, you heard it first. You go there and just hang out with her for a little bit. She's cool as a fan.
I was gonna say, I hope that I get invited here at some point, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be at Dragon Con in Atlanta this year, but probably more as a fan than as a guest. But
Right.
it's my all-time favorite con of any of the ones that I've been to thus far in my life. I love Dragon Con.
Awesome.
Have you ever been?
Huh?
Have you ever been?
No.
It's okay. It's pretty cool. It's one of those cons where, for one thing, it's like it's in downtown Atlanta in about 4 different hotels, and they're really close to each other. It's just
Right.
like one big city block that everybody just like it's like a giant Halloween block party. And I feel like out of all of the cons I've ever been to, Dragon Con is the least commercialized, and it's like there's way more people who go to participate and like dress up and really be involved as opposed to like kind of like being a voyeur, if you
Right.
will.
Right.
Like that was kind of something that like I noticed about Comic Con as it's gotten like bigger and bigger and bigger is it's just there's so many voyeurs. And I'm not saying that like, going to like gawk and watch isn't cool too, that's fine. But it's just like a different atmosphere when like everyone who's there is like in it, you know? And that's where I've done most of my cosplaying too, is at Dragon Con.
Zach G asks, I'm not sure if this is wrong timing for this question, but are the studios you record at based in Texas? I've been toying with trying my hand at voice acting.
Yes, all of the studios that I have worked with thus far are based in Texas. Um, I hope to, in the next year or two, start doing some work in California as well. Because, what it is, I think it's Bang Zoom is out in California, and just a lot of the like AAA, like really big console games, they only cast and record out of California and LA. So, but yes, Texas is a great place to get started in voiceover.
Oh yeah. Especially, I think there's Funimation, and I don't know if I don't remember the other name. It begins with an A.
Yeah, there's a place in Houston, isn't there?
I think so.
I'm blanking on the name of it too, but yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a place in Houston. I think if you had to pick one city, Dallas is definitely probably the best. I think it has the highest concentration of companies.
Oh yeah.
But I believe Houston has a few and Austin has a few.
I think that from me hearing about it, if you just pay attention to like Funimation a lot, they usually have casting calls.
Yeah, I got to go in. The very first audition I did for them was just like a general audition where they have like different types of like kind of general characters that you can like archetypes that you can read for, and they record your audition and they keep it on file. And then yeah, I was specifically asked to come in like specifically for Attack on Titan as well. Yeah. What was I going to say? I kind of forgot. Yeah.
It'll come back to you after, like, oh, hey, that's what I was gonna say. So guys, I know, let's see, it's now 7 o'clock in Texas. If you guys have any questions, start pouring them out. Zach says, might be worth a shot, though an Alaskan has no place in its little sister state. Might try to and endure it anyway.
Wait, sorry, what was that again?
Zach G says, might be worth a shot, though an Alaskan has no place in its sister state. Might try and endure it anyway.
Zach, you're from Alaska?
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets pretty darn hot here.
Yeah. We've been having crazy weather, though. Up here, yeah. I'm up close to downtown Dallas, whereas you're all the way down there. So, we've been having crazy weather, like, just Monday, it was in the 60s. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, I just thought of something else too. Zach and anybody else who's looking to go into voiceover, there is a website. I'm not remembering what the exact website is, but it's for a place called Edge Studio. It's EDGE, Edge Studio. It's based out of New York, but they have a website and they have a newsletter that they send out on a weekly basis that is an amazing tool for new voiceover actors and people who've been doing it for a while. There's so much info in the newsletters that's super helpful. There's all sorts of resources on their website. And they even have like this really cool contest where they'll put out like a different script every week for different genres, like commercials, industrials, games, and cartoons sometimes. And you can submit like a read for the the audition, and they'll give feedback. They'll give like generalized feedback, like this is what we heard a lot of, and this is like some of the pitfalls that people fell into. And then they will pick like 3 winners, and they give very specific feedback to the winners. And then if you win, you get credit towards like workshops that they teach there.
Really?
And they do a lot of like web workshops, like on Skype and stuff, so that you don't have to be physically present. And they have a lot of really great, like, so you want to be a voice actor? Okay, this is what you do. Or like, they even have like really cool sessions you can sign up for where, well, they'll kind of listen to your voice and be like, okay, like this is where your strengths are. Like, these are some good like genres of voiceover for you to go into, or like good like characters to look into, and like this is what you need to work on. And so it's a really great website, and I highly recommend signing up for the newsletter.
Well, you heard it guys first.
And too, I can't always promise a super timely response because I've been so busy lately, but if you guys ever have like specific questions, you're welcome to reach out to me and ask them on Twitter or Facebook. I always try and help when I can, because I got so much help when I was starting out, from guys like Liam and Mike McFarland, and, they answered so many questions for me. It's helpful if you have like specific questions, because it can take a really long time to answer like super generalized questions, which is something I like. You're more likely to get a response if you have a specific question to ask than like a very general one.
Actually, I didn't expect you to answer me as quick as you did either, because I was thinking, oh, she's probably busy working on another project.
Well, I was, but it wrapped a few days, I think, after you contacted me, so.
Zach says, awesome, I'll look it up.
Cool. Trying to think if there are any other resources I can think of. Those were the main ones that I use at the moment.
I'm trying to be. I'm just like, don't be afraid to ask questions.
It's okay. I think if I have any other fun stories to tell. Hmm. Um, One of my favorite cosplays I ever did was I've done the little sister from BioShock a few times.
Really?
Uh-huh.
That sounds pretty cool.
I wish I had like a way to like easily show you a picture. It was so much fun. And I like went so far as to like order like the yellow contacts. And I don't wear contacts or glasses in real life. And so the first night that I was at Dragon Con and cosplaying as little sister, I put the contacts in, and I don't know if it was my fault or some sort of defect in the contacts, but one of them kept like moving around, and everybody thought I was like drunk all night because I was like couldn't like really quite see where I was going, and then I ended up getting like an eye infection.
Oh.
For the rest of the con from that stupid contact, and I was like, never again. So I cosplayed Little Sister another year after that, but I didn't do the contacts. Um, hmm.
Trying to think. The Chim's like, I don't think we're afraid. We just can't come up and can't think of any questions.
I know. It's like I was so excited to do the interview now, but I'm like, oh man, I so wish we could like fast forward like 8 or 9 months from now, and I was like, that's so much more I could tell you about.
Oh yeah, I mean that's like I was saying when we were talking beforehand. It's just that you know no one has this account. So I want to be able to go back and talk your with you after all the stuff you've done later on down the road is done. And you'd be like, oh yeah, girl, let's talk, let's kick back, get some tea, whatever, all that other stuff, And that's another thing that I want to do with Anime Twist is just be like, talk to people that I've talked to in the past and just catch up, see what they're doing now, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, Miyakota's like, the only questions I can think of are favorite animal, favorite food. I'm such a lame question asker.
Ooh, favorite animal. Oh, that's a tough one. Well, I love dogs and cats, obviously. I literally like, I cannot go anywhere without being like, dog? Oh. I own several cats. But I have always had a really big thing for elephants.
Really?
Yes. I go gaga when I see them. Like, I've been to like a couple randomly, like, you wouldn't think they'd be at Renaissance fairs, but I've been to Renaissance fairs that have elephants. And I can just literally sit there or stand and like watch them for hours. I think they're incredibly beautiful creatures, and there's something about their trunk that I just find fascinating.
So you'd be the one that would just go to the zoo just to see the elephant?
Yes.
Zach says, are you allowed to plug other things, like with your work, with Joe's Totally Awesome, or TOF stuff?
Oh, Time of the Fairies. Yes, I was actually going to say, if I can take a few minutes and just talk about my partner in crime that I've essentially been to pretty much every single convention I've ever been to in my life is with my best friend Joseph Corsentino, and he is one of the most amazingly talented like photographers and visionaries I've ever met. His website is Time of the Fairies. And he does fantasy photography. He does like fairies, vampires, angels, and it's kind of like his concept on them is, what if you were to take these creatures and like put them in modern day? So it's like his images tend to be like really kind of like gritty and urban and modern, and they're beautiful and tragic and haunting. And I've been working with him for over 10 years. He's really like the first good friend that I made in LA, and is now, now my best friend. And I highly recommend, if you like anime or fantasy, go check out his website. We worked on a photography-based graphic novel together called Afterlight, actually, which I play the main character in. Hi, Sophie. Here, come here. Want to say hello? Want to say hello?
She's like, you're not paying attention to me, Mama. You're paying attention to somebody else.
Who's the prettiest kitty? She is a really beautiful cat. Samson, you can come say hi too.
Hold up. Oh, hold up. I'll be right back.
Hi, guys. I'm gonna take a Skittles break. One thing you may not know about me is that I am hello! Fluffy cat.
This is Bella.
Hi, Bella.
Say hi. Look up at the camera.
Oh, you're cute. Oh, you're precious.
She is, she's like, Mom, why did you wake me up? I was sleeping. I mean, she has her own little Facebook fan page.
Oh, look at you.
Say hi.
But yes, I'm a huge candy fiend. I pretty much always have candy on me in my purse, regardless of time of day of the week, where I am.
What is your favorite candy?
Skittles.
Skittles.
I'm also a huge sour candy fan, like Sour Belts and Sour Straws and...
Sour Patch Kids.
Mm-hmm. But if I had to pick one, it would be Skittles.
Let's see. Makoto, back to Elephant, said they're really fun to watch and so intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
Zach G said they're great and imaginative people. Chim said pretty kitty. Miyakota said kitty. Chim said, oh my gosh, I love cats so much. Makoto said dogs are my favorite. And Chim said rainbow sour belts are my fave. Nicole93 wants to know, how did you get the part of Ymir, and did you try out for any other character?
Well, I don't really know how I got the part of Ymir. I just auditioned for her, and actually, you know what? I didn't audition for Ymir, come to think of it. That was not one of the characters, because it was kind of like with the general audition where you get there and they have a book, and it has each of the characters that you can read for, and it has like a little description of each character and kind of like the qualities that they're looking for. And I auditioned for Mikasa, Krista, Sasha, and Annie. And I actually also auditioned for Armin. Because I mean, I think that they were considering having like a girl do his voice, since he has like a higher register voice. And I believe Mike told me that it was like my read for Annie that like made him decide to cast me as Ymir. So I don't know, doing like kind of like lower pitched, like badass, like kind of snarky female characters, that's kind of my bread and butter. I do a lot of other voices, but
right.
I tend to get cast in those roles often.
You have been applauded as that you say Mikasa's name correctly as well, and that makes her happy, Jim.
Thanks. I have been corrected many a time by actually getting the, like in another series that I'm working on, getting the names down can be really hard sometimes because they stress different, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
different syllables than we would naturally in the English language. So how I would think you would pronounce name A is not necessarily correct. So that was like a little bit of a struggle when I was working on some of the stuff I'm currently working on. You just like, you have to like get it like in your head. You have to like say it over and over again until it becomes muscle memory. Because there's nothing worse than like having like this long, like 5 or 6 line long monologue, and like it's going great, and then oh oops, I pronounced the name wrong. Now we have to do the entire thing over again.
Um, you're being more applauded. You're exactly how I hear Ymir in my head. So hell yeah.
Oh, thanks.
From Lakota, from Miyakota. So, um, what is your favorite television show right now?
Archer. Have you seen it?
No, I've been told I need to. But on the side note that you said Archer, did you hear about? I don't know where it is, but my friend said that was totally something that would be pulled out of Archer. Her name is Dallas Archer. And she hid a loaded gun up in her vagina.
Ow! Gross. That is totally something that they would do in Archer. Oh, that's really hard for me to even like imagine. I'm just gonna stop right there. Imagining how that would work. Yeah, Archer. H. John Benjamin is one of my favorite cartoon animation voice actors at the moment.
Is he the one? Trying to think. Was he the same person that did Bob's Burgers and my daughter's the daughter of the devil and stuff like that?
Yeah, he's got a really distinctive voice. It's interesting because he's one of those voice actors, like, he's not super versatile. Like, he doesn't do a ton of different characters. His voice is so obvious and, like, you know immediately that it's him.
Right.
But, like, he is an absolute, like, genius at, like, what he does well. Exceptionally well. Him and Patrick Warburton, I mean, they're both kind of the same. Like, I love Patrick Warburton, and it's like, but you always know when it's Patrick. Like, you can always tell.
Oh, yeah. Did you get a chance to interact with the other voice actors in working with Attack on Titan?
Unfortunately not. We always came in and did our sessions, like, individually, and I never met any of them coming or going. I mean, Mike, you know, he's Gene. But that's about it. But I'm hoping that I'm going to get to meet some of them when I go to some of these conventions.
Yeah. Trying to think. You what, Chim? You just did ... you
I love ellipses. I use them all the time. Probably them.
You have been corrected, it seems. Like, Jean is pronounced like French-like. Jean, Jean Valjean.
Jean Valjean.
I think that's how she's saying it.
That was one character that I haven't yet had to say his name on the anime yet.
Yeah, you were saying it right now. Yes. So guys, I mean, let's see. It is almost 7:30. Okay, let's do this because I know that, do you play, like, any PC games, like Minecraft or any MMOs or...
I am not actively playing any MMOs right now because I've just been so busy that I was like, I'm wasting money because I don't have time to play as often as I should to justify the monthly expense. But I have and will play again World of Warcraft, and I also played Terra for a while too, which I actually really liked. A lot of people bashed that game, but I really enjoyed it because, quite frankly, like, you have to stare at your character's ass the entire time you're playing. Like, why not have it be like an attractive, well-dressed ass?
Right.
You
You're Miyakota's like, yes, World of Warcraft. And Chim said Terra is great. Zach said you should check out Secret World. So I have no idea what Secret World is. Have you ever thought if someone was to approach you for video game voice acting, would you do it?
Oh, I do it currently. Yeah.
Are we going to expect you to pop up in some game titles soon?
Yeah, well, some stuff I have. I don't know if you guys have heard of King's Isle or like Wizard 101 or Pirates 101.
They
they're kind
advertise
of like
it on TV all the time.
yeah, they're kind of like, the family-friendly MMOs. They're an Austin-based company, and I work with them all the time. I was the lead character in Wizard 101, like the expansion pack that they just released. I play a praying mantis named Sultana the Mirror Mask. And I also just worked on an MMO. Well, technically it's not an MMO, but have you heard of Star Citizen?
No.
I forget what they're calling it. They're saying like it's more than an MMO. That was a really cool project. It's set in space, and it's. I think I remember the owners of the company saying that, like, as of now, it's the most like successful crowd-funded game in history. Like, I think like the amount of money they raise on Kickstarter like is, Guinness Book of World Records style. And I play a couple different characters on that, but I got to do my first AI voice for that game. They have a few different like companies that you can buy your like spacecrafts from, kind of like how there's Volkswagen and Mercedes and stuff.
Right.
There's a couple of different companies like that, and I play the AI voice anytime you purchase a spacecraft by Anvil Aerospace. And then I think that's most of what I can talk about right now. But you will be hearing me in a handful of other games soon as well. Oh, I want to say something so bad, but I can't.
Don't do it! Don't do it! Don't do it!
I know. I never would. It's just.
I'll cut the stream before you do.
What?
I said I'll cut the stream before you do.
But yeah, I love doing games too. I mean, it's kind of similar. Well, that's not entirely true. Doing anime is by far the hardest voiceover I've ever done.
Okay. I'm pulling. This is my sheet from a long time ago. But, so I'll take a question from off of here. But what do you personally think of the vicious hatred expressed by certain otakus for any kind of English dubbing?
I hope I don't get like tarred and feathered for saying this, but I can kind of understand it. I was actually a bit of a purist when I first started watching anime, and I just never watched dub stuff. It was just like subtitles are nothing for me. But I feel like the industry and companies like Funimation have done so much to advance anime dubbing and take it from being like a chore to like an art form.
Right.
I feel like the quality of voice acting has just gotten amazing in anime in the last like 10 or 15 years. And especially being privy to kind of like seeing it on the inside, like I get different things out of anime when I watch it dubbed and when I watch it not dubbed. Um, and I know a lot of people complain that like, oh, the translation isn't the same,
Right.
but it's like it's not, in my opinion, it's not entirely supposed to be. Like part of dubbing is to take, you can't like take something word for word from Japanese and like say it that way in English. Like it doesn't always translate. It's a very different language than
Right.
English. And I love like hearing the differences because I think that the translators are doing a fantastic job as of late. And it's like you get like jokes come out in like a different way, you know, or you get like a different sense of the character or a different sense out of the scene than you do when watching it, you know, with subtitles. So, I mean, I do understand people that hate on it, but I feel like the more that I've watched dubbing and the more I've gotten involved in it, the more I've realized like how valuable it is as, you know, to me they're like equal. And when I really like an anime, I always watch it both ways.
Right. We have people that say, I used to have such a hard time reading subs when I was younger, so I was absolutely thankful for dubs. That was from Miyakura.
Yeah.
Chim says, I think Funimation and other companies have started to make it better and actually match. I don't know what that was. Upstairs? Miyakura says also sometimes I don't just feel like they're reading subs. Also, two versions give me an excuse to watch it more. So.
Right. And I mean, I even have like, I have a lot of artist friends who watch anime while they paint, you know, draw, sculpt, or do whatever.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, like if it weren't for dubs, I wouldn't be able to watch the anime I want to watch because I don't have time to just sit down and watch it. I have to like, you know, multitask, and that's my solution for doing two things at once.
Trying to think. Are you a Pokemon fan?
You know, believe it or not, I never got into Pokemon.
Wow, really?
Oh, right.
Oh, okay.
It was weird. It was a lot of my early taste in anime was kind of shaped by my brother because I could only watch what he had.
Right.
So, and he was never into Pokemon or some of the more, I don't want to say like cutesy stuff, but you know, some of the stuff that was a little bit more, you know, originally, you know, geared for kind of like a younger versus a super adult audience.
Right.
And I just like, I never got on the Pokemon train like when I was younger, and I never ended up going back and watching it. I'm totally open to it. But one of the funny catch-22s about being a fan of anime and also being a voice actor is it's like the busier you get, or the more work you're doing, the busier you get, so the less time you have to actually watch it.
Sit down and enjoy, yeah. I know. That's why when I ask questions like, so what's your favorite, you know, anime? There's so many. Which one do you want me to say, you know? And or I don't have a favorite anime because, you know, just it varies between each time I ask, but yeah, I can get you there. What is going on upstairs? Oh my god. Just so you know, my cat's upstairs and her food bowl is in the bathtub, so she's probably trying to be like, feed me, bitch. So, Chim says, thank God, finally someone that doesn't play it. You're recording this right, because I gotta go do stuff. Anyways, so, let's see. It is 7:32. 2 minutes have passed since the last time I said the time. Anybody else have any more questions? I mean, there is no stupid question. because there's always an answer for all questions, regardless stupid or not.
Hey, Sophie. No.
What kind of cats do you have?
Sophie is, I believe she's like a Siamese tabby mix. Um, and then I have a male cat named Samson, who I'm kind of surprised hasn't made his way over here yet, but he's like a huge orange and white tomcat. He's a tabby as well. Oh, hello. Oh, yeah. Can you see his hair? Oh, Samson, to hear your name. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come say hi to everybody. This is Samson. Say hi. Say hi.
Hi.
He's my baby. He's the one I've had the longest, and I just love him to death. We've been through a lot together. And he's my snuggler. Sophie's the lap cat, and he's the one that snuggles with me in bed at night.
Aww. Miyakota said, or asks, what's your favorite kind of dog? She has 2 dogs on the mind, and she's getting a second one soon, so...
What is my favorite kind of dog? Well, that's such a tough question to answer. I personally am a big dog lover. I have many friends that have small dogs that I love, but I don't own any dogs, but if I were ever to get one, it would definitely be like at least like a medium-sized, if not a big dog. I love labs. I grew up with them. And I actually also grew up with Rottweilers, which are really amazing dogs as well. I feel like there's like a dog I've met and haven't liked.
You would like my mom's dog very much. She has a Belgian Malinois, and they're confused with German Shepherds. And I have a feeling that if you were to meet my mom's dog, you would just fall head over heels for her. She's an amazing breed. Very smart. Very smart. So.
I love pit bulls too. I mean, I feel like I have a lot of friends that own them, and I just get so incensed at like the prejudice that people have against them. Which is like completely unwarranted. I don't know if you knew this or if anybody else knew this, but I did like a lot of research into pit bulls at one point because I was really fascinated by like their history and like how they got like the bad rap that they did.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact name of the test, but there's an actual test that they give breeds of dogs that essentially it's considered like an aggression test. And it's essentially, the test is literally, how many times can you poke a dog in its nose, like its snout, before it will react like aggressively or like unfavorably. And pit bulls ranked like number 2, like on the most docile, like as far as like you could do the most to it and just like poke it and prod it without it doing anything. I don't remember what number 1 was, but pit bulls were number 2. So yeah, I don't know. My motto is kind of like, unless you were attacked by a dog at some point in your life, if you don't like dogs, I don't trust you. Because if you can't love dogs, which are like the most lovable creatures on earth, like, what kind of human being are you? Really?
That is a very, like I said, I've got a Pomeranian. And I'm sure you know what, they get a bad rap too.
They're cute.
They're cute, but they're like a one-person kind of dog, you know? And just me walking in, like, he's my dog, but he protects my grandmother more than he protects me, and I'm just like, what is going on here? You're my dog, you know? So, Makoto says, pits are an incredible and such sweeties. Oh my goodness, Rottweilers too. Look, or two, like pretty much every dog with a bad rap is so sweet. And she said that, or she or he said, we'll talk nonstop about dogs. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I can talk. I've made uh, I'm not going to say accosted a lot of strangers, but I've struck up conversations with a lot of random strangers because I'll just be like, ah, dog.
How
Um,
old is he? What breed is it? What's its name?
and I used to apologize. The last apartment building I lived in LA, like I learned all of the dogs and the names of the dogs that lived in the building like long before I remembered the names of the owners. I was like, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. You're Jasper's owner. What was your actual name?
Yeah, but no, I mean, I love my pets. I love them to death. Um, for another big breed of dog for you, a couple years back, we had two Irish wolfhounds living in our neighborhood.
Oh man, those things are big.
Oh yeah, and he got to one point. I had a Welsh Corgi cardigan beetle mix, and he comes up to about on an Irish wolfhound. He was like right there at the knee
Uh-huh.
of the wolfhound, and he had kind of a Napoleon complex about him, and so he would be biting at the ankles and just yapping and stuff. And this Irish wolfhound's like, seriously, that tickles. You should stop, you know. And they're just such a beautiful breed of dog.
Are corgis the one that look kind of like miniature
Have you ever?
border collies?
No. Well, kind of. Have you ever seen Cowboy Bebop?
Yes.
Ein, the little data dog, is a Welsh Corgi.
Yeah, okay, yes, I know exactly what they are. I was getting it confused with another breed of dog for a second. I corgis are.
Also, the Queen of England has Welsh Corgi. I can't remember. There's two different forms of Welsh Corgis. The cardigans are the ones where they keep the tails,
Mm-hmm.
and the other one, I think it begins with like a P. I can't remember. Is when they get cut, and then their ears trimmed. So Miyakota said, my absolute favorite breed is the Collie. They're the Boy Scouts of the dog world, and they're so smart and gentle and sweet, and they come in a long coat and short coat vary. They're perfect. There we go. And then Mia's like, cardigans are born with a tail, Pembroke Welsh Corgis are born without. Thank you for correcting me on that. I'm so glad somebody knows what I'm talking about. So, she is just like having all kinds of fun walking back and forth on your chair.
She's definitely a princess. She likes to be the center of attention, that's for sure. But you're so pretty, it's easy to give you the attention. She's the most photogenic cat ever.
Oh yeah, that's why I was saying with Bella, she's got her own little fan page. Oh my god. Some of the pictures I take of her, it's ridiculous. But, so are you having a premiere watch party for Attack on Titan tonight?
No, because unfortunately I have to like do a little bit of business, but I think that I will probably like wait. I don't know if I'm going to be able to contain myself, but I think I probably will wait until like tomorrow when I can watch it with some friends and stuff. So we'll see if I can discipline myself or if I like run home later tonight and like binge on it by myself. I don't know, we'll see.
Well, I mean, I think it comes on at 11 our time, doesn't it? 11:30? Or is it 10?
I don't remember. I looked at the times a while ago. It's kind of going out of my memory now.
That's sad, because I should know this. Because I'm getting reports, hey guys, don't forget to watch Toonami tonight. Attack on Titan's gonna be on. I'm just like, okay, like, share, there you go. So, it is almost 8 o'clock. I know that you've got stuff to do, and I don't know about you, but I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm getting there. The cats are definitely hungry. I think that's one of the reasons why she's been walking back and forth so much.
Oh yeah. So hopefully I'll be able to get another interview with you in the future. If not, hopefully I will be able to see you in a future convention. And if you crash a con, I want pictures of people just be like, what? Yeah, I want pictures, because that would be amazing.
Yes, yes, and yes.
And hopefully we'll be able. To be honest, for me, I know I'm a little bit fluffy, but I want to be able to go to my first convention and be able to cosplay. So like, I don't want to be fluffy when I go. I want to be skinny. So I've been on a kind of a diet, if you would say so. So hopefully in the future, when I meet you, we'll be able to actually have a sit down and have an actual nice interview, like you would see with the red carpet style. Because I think that would be pretty awesome.
I agree.
So.
And hey, I have seen girls of all size cosplay, and it's been amazing. I'll have to send you a picture. There was a really amazing group of like beautiful, voluptuous women who cosplayed female versions of male characters, and they got together and did a group photo, and somebody posted it on my Facebook feed, and I was like, damn!
Right.
I mean, it was awesome. So I wouldn't worry about that too much.
Well, see, with me, it's like, and that's something else too I've been debating, because as you can tell, I've got long hair.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to like chop it off.
Mm-hmm.
Or just keep it long, because I want to be able to use my hair in cosplay. But then it's like, I don't know how that would exactly work, because it would be falling at the end of the day.
Oh, you mean like if you curled it or whatever?
Yeah. Because I've been sleeping with my hair braided.
Mm-hmm.
And this was braided this morning, and it was all wavy, and I was like, oh yeah, I love my wavy hair. And it's already flat, as you can see.
Well, I know some people don't like to use product, which is like completely understandable, but it's like that's the only way I get my hair to do anything is like a lot of hairspray.
So,
that and doing stuff on kind of like a little dirty hair, like if you haven't washed it for like a few days,
right.
It tends to hold like curl and style a lot better too.
Oh yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh, I was what was I gonna say? Oh, if you guys, if you keep up with me on like Facebook or Twitter, I will leak all the new information about like anime and video game stuff as it comes out. On Facebook, I'm just under Elizabeth Maxwell. I think I'm usually the first person to show up. And my Twitter handle is about Elizabeth M.
So, what I'll do with that is I will, just so you get an update, I'll be cutting this part of the interview short. But, so let's go ahead and be like, okay, so thank you guys for listening in. It has been an honor with Miss Elizabeth.
Aw, thank you. I had a blast.
And I hope to get to talk to you soon.
For sure.